Hello everyone, Stanley here and welcome back to another Bedrock Edition tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to trap the wither in obsidian and use it for all kinds of different things, such as keeping a pet wither around, creating a wither cage, creating a blast chamber, or just simply killing the wither very easily. There is a ton of different technical uses for this as well, such as automatic cobblestone and basalt farms, automatic concrete converters, tree farms, and fungus farms too. The best thing is that this doesn't rely on any bugs, glitches, commands, or anything like that, and it's really safe and reliable as well. So you can build this anywhere and any dimension that you want to, and overall it's just really cool. So I have 6 main uses for this little mechanic for you, and all of them are incredibly helpful and convenient. The first of which is just basically a wither cage. You can just keep a pet wither around for as long as you like. This guy is never going to escape or die or get up to any mischievous business, and as you can see, he can just stay in there for as long as he likes. And then of course we have the very simple wither killer as well. All you need is some obsidian, and then you basically just summon him in there, and ba-bam! You have yourself an instant easy wither killer. And then we have 2 slightly more complicated contraptions for fully automatic cobblestone farming. You literally just turn it on and it's completely AFK. You can stand here for as long as you like until all of your storage is completely backed up, and as you can see, it is a lot of cobblestone. You can also repurpose that machine for basalt as well, and then you have a fully automatic basalt farm, and these things just crank out the blocks and you don't need to do anything at all. You can also use this as a concrete converter as well. Right now I have a command block to simulate a player standing there with an auto clicker to place the powder, but as you can see, the powder gets turned into full concrete blocks, and then all of those get automatically broken by the wither, and you can convert to a lot of concrete. And the final main use of this is for tree and fungus farms, which I'll also be simulating using a fill command as well. And as you can see, no matter how fast your tree or your fungus farm is, your wither blast chamber will be able to keep up with it. You can also use this mechanic for a wither rose farm as well, as I've shown in a previous tutorial. With that one, I used an in-city gateway and bedrock. However, you can swap out all that bedrock for obsidian, maybe add a couple extra layers for safety, and then you can use this for a wither rose farm too. Before we get too far into the video, a massive thank you to Nolan and Redstone Slime for showing me all of this tech. And Nolan and Redstone also designed the, different cobblestone and basalt generators. I've been messing around with this tech for the last couple of days, just kind of messing around with it, refining it, updating it, and overall it's really fun stuff to play with. So make sure to show some love for Nolan and Redstone down in the comments, because they are the creators of like all of this cool stuff you're about to see in today's video. So I'm sure you have some questions as to how exactly this thing works, because normally you can't trap the wither in obsidian. However, if we go to our game settings, you can see that yes, mob griefing is indeed turned on. If we turned this off, then that would be cheating. It would disable achievements, and then you could trap the wither in literally whatever you want. And of course, you couldn't use that for any of the block farms that we're using. So mob griefing is of course turned on. However, we're playing on easy difficulty. The wither does a lot of things differently on easy mode compared to normal or hard difficulty, and I know a lot of people do play on easy mode, so hopefully this tutorial is useful for a lot of you watching. Now, the main thing that's different about easy mode withers is that when you damage them, either by using snowballs or any other form of damage, they don't break any obsidian around them, which is how a lot of obsidian farms work. And also, when the wither is just idly sitting around, it doesn't shoot out any skulls or blue skulls, meaning that it can't break the cage around it. However, if we go ahead and break a couple blocks in this wall and allow the wither to see another mob, then the wither is going to start shooting out skulls, including the blue skulls, which actually can break the obsidian, and then the guy can escape. So we're summoning the wither directly into a obsidian cage, and then it never sees another life form ever, and never shoots out any skulls, and it never has the possibility to break its cage or escape either. It's honestly really straightforward, and it works great. So a little bit of information regarding where to build these things. You can build them in any dimension. However, if you're building them in the nether, your snow golems are going to die, so you'll need to work around that and stockpile snowballs for these farms to work. And also, if you're in the nether, you won't have water, which is going to make item collection a much bigger pain in the butt, so keep that in mind. Furthermore, I would not build this in your base or anywhere near civilization at all. I would recommend building it in the outer end city islands. Again, you are messing with the wither, and if you ever switch switch your difficulty to normal or hard, which you can do at any time, then your wither is going to escape and blow up a bunch of things. So be safe, be prepared, and play smart. Build these things in the end dimension where there isn't really anything to destroy. And something that you can do, even if you do like to play on normal or hard difficulty, is you can build these things out in the outer and city islands, and then whenever you plan to use them, just switch the game to easy mode, and then as soon as you leave the area and your farm is no longer in loaded chunks, then you can switch back to a higher difficulty, and that allows you to use this on really any world that you want to, as long as you have the ability to change the difficulty whenever you feel like it. And one more thing before we jump into it, there is a lot of tutorials in this video. Most people would split this up into a bunch of different videos, but I decided to keep it all consolidated into one place for you guys. So if you are enjoying this video and just enjoying the channel in general, then consider leaving a like on the video, possibly sharing this around with your friends, or maybe even subscribing if you're new here and haven't already. That way you don't miss future videos on the channel. And otherwise, let's hop into the tutorial, shall we? For your convenience, there's going to be a world download in the description of the video. That way you can test out all these builds yourself, and then there might also be some materials list down there for you as well. We're going to start off with the easy build, and that is the Wither Killer and Wither Cage. We're going to start building our Wither Cage and Killer by building a little plus sign of obsidian, just 5 pieces, and then go ahead and stand in the center of that and open up yourself an locator map. You want to spin around until your little arrow is facing the top side of the map, which is always going to be north, and that means that to our left is going to be the westerly direction. This is very good. Wither spawning is actually a directional thing, so if you build this part of the platform wrong, your wither is not going to spawn inside of your farm, and it's going to blow everything up. Anyway, we're going to put 2 additional blocks onto the east side of this build, and then a temporary block, go downwards by 2 blocks, and then we're going to make ourselves a little bit of a 3x3 platform of obsidian, and just completely fill that in. That is going to be the bottom part of our cage. You then want to go 3 blocks above that temporary block, and this is just going to be a 3x3x3 cube of obsidian right here as well. Basically just filling in this entire thing. You don't need as much obsidian as I'm using, but this is like the safety amount because you really don't want this guy to escape. We're going to go ahead and remove that block right there, and then put another edging of obsidian going all the way around the very edge of this build right here, and that will allow our wither to spawn directly in the middle, never see another mob, and then never escape this build either. And voila, our wither will now be summoned in there. You just place the 4 soul sand in those locations, and then your 3 wither skulls, and he should pop right into that cell. I would recommend AFKing maybe underneath this thing just to have a nice safe location. Wait a couple minutes, this guy will now die. Once the wither is then dead, you just pop out a block, and there is your wither star, so you can just go in there and pick that thing up basically. If you want to have yourself a wither cage without the wither actually dying, then you build this exact thing, and then you simply remove that block right there and remove that block right there, allowing for a 3 tall area, and then the wither will get summoned and basically just stay in there forever without ever taking any damage or being able to target any mobs, so it'll never escape. And now you have yourself a really easy wither cage, so you can keep a pet wither wherever you want in your Minecraft world. So this basic wither cage is going to be the foundations of the next 4 tutorials in this video for all of the auto block farms. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that there is a 3 block tall gap in the middle of this thing. So normally these wouldn't be here, but the obsidian, it makes it very hard to see what we're doing. So you would have those 3 blocks where the wither would normally be standing. We're going to have another 2 blocks right here, and then simply have a dispenser facing towards the wither like so. Go ahead and surround that block right there and 4 obsidian blocks like so, and then we're going to go ahead and remove all of these temporary filler blocks. Fill in this entire wall right here, and then you can go ahead and summon in your wither whenever you want. And this right here is the base wither cage model for all 4 of our block breaking farms that I'm about to show you how to build. Withers have a very specific range in which they can break blocks, so it is a 4 wide by 4 long area, as you can see marked out from the glass blocks here, and it's also 6 blocks tall as well. Anything within this little range or within this little square square will get broken anytime you damage your wither with a snowball, as you can see there. And that is the basics of how we are using this as a blast chamber. So go ahead and mark out that 1 block above the wither cage and around the very bottom of your wither cage, and then you know where you can and cannot build things. And now we're going to turn this into a blast chamber for tree and fungus farms. Depending on the tree or the fungus farm that you're using, you may need to completely swap out the system or just modify it slightly, but keep in mind this is going to be for a 6 tall output because that's how much a single wither can break. So we're going to go to the lower right hand corner of this build, place in 2 solid blocks and then 3 glass blocks like so. Remove that block and that block there, place in a redstone torch and redstone dust above all of that, and then you want 6 normal pistons going vertically up like so. Swing around the back side of that and place in 3 solid blocks in those locations. You want redstone dust above all of those, and then simply place in 2 glass blocks there, redstone above both of those, and then another glass block right there as well. And that is going to create a smart piston, so whenever you place a block or a log in front of that, all 6 of those pistons should fire like so, which is going to push everything into the blasting zone of the wither. We're then going to swap around to the back side of that redstone torch, install another solid block with a redstone dust. You then want an observer facing downwards right there, solid block above that, redstone dust right there, normal piston facing to this direction, and then get yourself 2 hoppers right here. You want a wall up on the second block, fill in this area right here with 4 pieces of obsidian, and then go ahead and fill in this little wall right here with some glass blocks as well, just to contain the snow golem. We're going to put in a snow golem right here, and that guy is just going to provide the infinite amount of snowballs to damage the wither. So now anytime that we put a block in front of this thing, such as a log or a fungus, then that is going to activate our smart piston and damage the wither with a snowball, and as you can see, that is going to act as an auto block breaker. You'll also want to put some additional blocks above your snow golem so that it can never escape or get attacked by endermen, and then you may also need to place some additional obsidian blocks in these locations just to prevent items from landing up there on the edges, but item collection is kind of up to you. You can lay it out like how I have over here, or really do whatever you want with it. Turning this into a concrete converter is really straightforward as well. You want to place in yourself 2 hoppers right here, get yourself a wall up on that second block, fill in this area with 4 obsidian, and then simply surround the rest of this with a little bit of a casing of glass blocks like so. You want to place in yourself 1 piston facing into that direction to break the snow layers. Now place a solid block above the piston and then another block to the diagonal of it, and place a redstone torch right there and 1 more solid block like so. You want 2 solid blocks in these locations with redstone dust above them, and then simply put 4 pistons going across like so, and these 4 pistons should be lined up with the 4x4 of glass that we placed earlier. So now we're going to go ahead and place in another solid block right there, another temporary block there, and then 4 upper slabs going all the way across the build like so, and that is going to prevent you from building, you know, a block and then another block on top of that when you're placing your concrete powder. And now we're going to go ahead and simply fill in this corner with 2 pieces of obsidian, go around to this other edge and put in another 3 pieces of obsidian right there too. We're then going to go ahead and install the snow golem, so you'll need to remove that button for a second, place in your 2 snow blocks, another pumpkin, and then place your button back. Finishing up the build, you want to place the 3 solid blocks going out the back side of that dispenser right there, go up into the diagonal, and then another 4 blocks across like so, redstone dust above all of that, and then you want 2 solid blocks right above that redstone there, a temporary block, and then 2 observers facing in towards the blasting zone, and that is going to be what activates your wither and breaks all the blocks in this area. We now need to raise up this glass roof by a block on this side right here to allow for some water streams, so just raise that up like so. Place in a solid block next to that observer, a stair right there, another solid block, and then flip around to the other side. You also want a block there, stair, and then another 3 blocks going to the edge. Put a line of upper slabs going all the way across like so, a line of glass blocks, and then 4 obsidian right here, just to prevent your concrete from ever getting pushed too far out and, you know, eventually breaking your farm. Now go ahead and place 4 chests underneath each one of these glass blocks right here, and a hopper behind each one of those, and that is going to be the item collection for your build. I'd also recommend putting a block there and a block in that corner too, just to prevent items from falling out of your farm. Now go to this side of the build and place in some temporary blocks so that the wither can break. And then we're going to place in 3 solid blocks in this area right here, another 3 blocks in that area there. Get out your water, and we're going to waterlog that stair and waterlog that stair as well. As soon as you do that, that is going to start activating your system, as you can see. And this water system is basically just a quick way of reactivating your wither all the time without much hassle. We're going to grab ourselves a lever and turn off this thing because it sounds kind of terrifying. And then just get yourself another 4 water sources, 1 on each one of these blocks right there. To finish up the build, all you need to do is place in 3 pieces of redstone dust right there, and then a solid block, and now you can unflick your lever, grab yourself some concrete powder, and this thing is incredibly easy to use. Just aim near the bottom of that block right there, and spam click as fast as you can, or get yourself an auto clicker. As you can see, I have a very fast auto clicker that just basically places them instantly. You can also set up an auto dropper system to dispense concrete powder to you if you don't feel like manually switching over from one stack to another. Of course, once you're done, make sure to flick off that lever, and then the farm won't be activating until you turn it back on. And as you can see, that's all there is to it. And now it is time to build the automatic basalt and cobblestone farm. These 2 farms are basically like 95% the same. There's only some very slight differences in the redstone. So we're going to build up everything that's the same, and then I'll show you how to turn it into either a basalt or a cobblestone farm. So the first thing that we're going to do is turn the top of this into a 4x4 of obsidian, and that should be lined up with the 4x4 of glass that you already have installed, of course. We're going to install the walls, which is just 1 solid block and then 2 stairs, and of course we're going to do that on both sides as well. We'll be waterlogging all of this a little bit later on for item collection. Put 1 additional block there and there, put 4 slabs going between the 2 of those, place 4 obsidian right there to prevent things in your farm from getting pushed out, and then we're going to put 2 double chests down here at this layer with a bunch of hoppers behind those. You want 4 hoppers pointing into the backs of those chests, 4 hoppers into the tops of those chests, and then 4 hoppers pointing into the back sides of those ones like so. And now it's time for the snow golem, so place in your 2 hoppers right there, 2 obsidian inside of that wall, a wall right there, and then 2 glass blocks like so. You also want your piston right there with a glass block above it, and then you want 4 obsidian going along the length of the build to prevent blocks from getting pushed into this part of the system. Put 2 glass blocks right there, and you can also install your snow golem now. And now for the default redstone for both of these builds, you want a temporary block right there underneath that obsidian bar, 4 normal pistons facing upwards going all the way across like so, and then place in yourself a solid block there, a bar of solid blocks going all the way across, and then just kind of going around the corner like so. Place a block in that corner right there, redstone dust, repeater on 3 ticks, and then 3 redstone dust going across like so as well. You want a solid block above that redstone there, and a glass block right there. Get yourself a temporary block, and then a sticky piston facing forwards with an observer facing to the side on it like so. And now we're going to place a redstone dust above that piston, and get yourself in 3 solid blocks in these locations, redstone torch underneath that block, a repeater right there on 4 ticks, and that should be activating all of that redstone. Place in yourself your on and off switch and just flick it like so. And now we're going to place in ourselves another temporary block next to that repeater, 4 normal pistons going all the way across that row, and then remove that block. We're going to flip around to this side, install ourselves a sticky piston facing upwards, an observer facing that piston, and another observer on top of that piston facing off to the side. You want a block behind that observer, go down into the diagonal, and then just have 5 blocks right here with redstone dust above all 5 of those. We're going to go ahead and place in another few blocks in this area in that shape, place in another glass block there, and then a solid block up into the diagonal like that, and then you want redstone above those 3 blocks, a repeater right here on 3 ticks, and then place in yourself a solid block as a temporary block, and go ahead and place in your other 4 pistons facing downwards in that area like so. place in a solid block there, 3 more redstone dust, and that is the foundations of your redstone for both your basalt and your cobblestone farm. Now it's time to turn this mess of redstone right here into a basalt farm, and this is actually pretty easy. So we're gonna go down to the bottom layer right here and place in a layer of sticky pistons going all the way across like so. Place in redstone dust above all of that, and then a solid block on the end of it. You want blue ice in front of all of those things, and then soil down below it right there. Go ahead and place in yourself a couple of glass blocks off of the edges, and then 4 glass blocks right there. A glass block on that end, and then 4 glass blocks underneath these pistons right there too. We're going to place in ourselves 4 lava buckets in each one of those spots, and all of that should turn into basalt. And now we're going to move up a layer, so we're going to place in the 4 solid blocks behind those central pistons, 1 repeater on 1 tick each going into each of those blocks to power that row. And now we need another row of sticky pistons in the back here, so 4 more sticky pistons going across, redstone above all of those, solid block on the very end, blue ice in front of all of those, soil right there, and then put in yourself a glass block on either end of that build. Place in the 4 glass right there, 4 glass on that side, another glass block right there, and then your 4 lava buckets going down like so. And that is all there is to your basalt farm. We can now go ahead and turn this thing on. It might take a second to kind of get into gear and get into the rhythm of it, but as you can see, it is indeed producing a bunch of basalt. And now we just need to make this system activate the actual snow golem. So place in yourself a redstone torch off of that piston right there, 2 hoppers underneath that, and these should be facing into each other like so. Throw a random item into that hopper, and then you want a block there, and then a couple blocks down like so. Comparator, and then a repeater on 1 tick into a solid block, and then just get yourself a couple of solid blocks right there with redstone dust above them. You also want to make sure you have 4 obsidian going across the build down into the diagonal of your very top pistons. That way these pistons in the backside don't push basalt going all the way across to like this side of the build, which would be a bad thing. And of course, make sure that you waterlog both of these stairs on either side of your blasting platform. That way it pushes all the items into your collection system. And now we're going to turn this generic redstone into a stone farm. So go down to the very bottom of the build, and you want to place 4 solid blocks going across with 4 redstone dust above all of those. Place in 4 pistons facing forwards like so, and 4 glass blocks underneath those pistons as well, just to keep all of the water in. Place a glass block to the edge of that, and then we're going to place in some more glass blocks in this area as well, and a couple more blocks on the edges. Place in 4 temporary blocks in those locations right there, and then place a water bucket onto each one of your pistons like so. We now need to place in another layer of glass, just kind of like creating a little area for the lava, and then place in yourself 4 lava buckets above each of those spots like so, and that is your lower stone generator complete. You now need to place in the 4 solid blocks behind those pistons right there. Grab a repeater and place 1 on each of those blocks on 1 tick each to power that middle row. Now for the very top row, you also want another 4 solid blocks, 4 more redstone dust. Get a layer of glass blocks in this area right here, 4 pistons facing forwards, another glass block right there, 2 layers of glass in these areas, a layer of temporary blocks, and then get your 4 obsidian right here into that area. Fill in some wall blocks on that side, some wall blocks on that side, and now we can actually go ahead and install all of our water. So 1 water bucket onto each one of the pistons, and that's going to flood pretty far forward, which is why we need all of these additional blocks. We now need 4 more glass there, 4 more there, another block right there, and then place in all of your lava buckets, and that is your stone generator now completely done and dusted. We can go ahead and turn this thing on and see that it produces an absolute ton of stone, and it's working very, very well, as you can see here. And now we need to connect this part of the build to the dispenser and piston of the snow golem, so place in a regular redstone torch right there, and then 2 hoppers beneath that facing into each other. Put any item into that back hopper right there, and then you want 3 solid blocks in these locations, a comparator facing into a repeater, and then 3 more solid blocks in these locations like so, and just 2 redstone dust going up to the piston and the dispenser. Once you've turned turned on your stone farm and you have a little bit of stone in the system, go ahead and waterlog both of these stairs on either side of your platform, and that'll flush your items to your collection system. So of course, let me know what you think about this tutorial down in the comment section below, and if you ever have any issues, comments, questions, or concerns, then you can also let us know down there. I'm always trying to help you guys out as best as I possibly can. But yet again, if you have enjoyed this tutorial, then make sure to leave a like and share it around with everybody that you know. There's like 6 tutorials in one in this video, and I think it's rather helpful. Also, if you're new here, then consider subscribing, of course, so you don't miss future videos on the channel. And otherwise, I will see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. Thank you again for watching. And then there was silence.